A very good evening. From stories around the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. I'm Vidushni Sadis Kumar.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Charith Pranaji, and now let's move on to the headlines for tonight's news.
Sri Lankan students who have arrived from Wuhan quarantined in Diatalava. China requests medical supplies from Europe to overcome the coronavirus. The coronavirus infected Chinese woman found in Sri Lanka was reported to have fully cured. Construction of houses for 14,000 low-income families commences. A new flight between Colombo and Jaffna. Britain leaves the European Union, ending 47 years of relations.
In your local stories this evening, a group of Sri Lankan students cornered in the Wuhan city of China with closure of the city as a result of the spread of the coronavirus has arrived in the island in an aircraft this morning. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa specially intervened in bringing back the students. The students who arrived in the island have been detained in two buildings constructed adjacent to the Army Hospital in Diatalava. The flight UL1422 of the Sri Lankan Airlines has left the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayaka around 3:35 last afternoon for the Tianghai International Airport in Wuhan in the Hubei province of China. The Sri Lankan aircraft was landed around 11:45 p.m. China time. Prior to departure from Colombo, the staff of the plane were given protective clothing and equipment and a special training of their use by the quarantine unit of the Sri Lankan Air Force and the Chemical, Biological, Radiology and Nuclear Response Squadron. The plane has commenced return journey to Sri Lanka upon boarding of 33 persons, including Sri Lankan students, small children and their family members. The plane, ending a 6-hour journey, has landed at the Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport around 7:50 this morning. The journey has been conducted through joint coordination of the institutions of the airport and Aviation Services Company. The process of disembarkation of passengers from the aircraft has commenced by the quarantine unit of the Sri Lankan Air Force and the Chemical, Biological, Radiology and Nuclear Response Squadron. Media director and media spokesman of the Air Force Group Captain Gihan Senivaratne said that first of all, decontamination of the patients through chemical ablutions and thereafter pure water baths are being conducted. He added that the quarantine process is being carried out after dressing the group with special garments. The private belongings of the group are also being subjected to quarantine. Even the aircraft will be subjected to a full quarantine. Captain Gihan Senivaratne added that if any germ emanates to the environment with the refuse, they take special protective measures to destroy such germs. Thereafter, all passengers were handed over by the quarantine unit of the Sri Lankan Air Force and the CBRN squadron. They were given food under the supervision of specially trained officials and physicians and boarded into a bus of a private company leaving for Diatalava. The bus was driven by an army driver equipped with special security methodologies. The two buildings built next to the Diatalava Army Hospital is comprised with all necessary facilities. It was only on the 28th of last month that the construction of the buildings has commenced. Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva said that upon arrival in Diatalava, the group was subjected to a medical test by medical groups morning and evening. All patients are being given separate lodgings. All necessary facilities are being provided in the building, including free Wi-Fi. A special counter has also been established for the group to order any item they need. The Army Commander said that the civilians do not have to unduly concerned over the measures being taken.
දරුවන්. එතකොට අපි මේ ලංකාවේ කොහේ හරි තමයි තියාගන්න ඕන ළමයි. ඉතින් මේ අනවශ්‍ය බියක් ඇති කර ගැනීමට මේ අවස්ථාවේ අවශ්‍යතාවයක් නැහැ. සිවිල් ජනතාවට මේකෙන් කිසිම මේ බලපෑමක් ඇති නොවන ආකාරයට වෙනම කොටසක පරිශ්‍රයක යොදලා තියෙන්නේ.
It is hoped to place the group under detention for a period of 14 days through full supervision of medical advisors, scientists specialized in infectious diseases and personnel of other relevant institutions. 32 separate rooms have been reserved for the inmates. Food, beverages and other facilities are being provided by the Sri Lanka Army. Spread of the coronavirus has commenced from Wuhan city of China. The highest number of patients were reported from the city. With the rapid spread of the disease, the process of evacuation of foreigners has begun. Sri Lanka has become one of the first countries which has taken measures to repatriate nationals of their country through diplomatic channeling. However, in the initial stages, Chinese authorities have not given permission for any country to withdraw its nationals. However, the Sri Lankan government has continuously implemented its programs to evacuate the students. With the cooperation of the President's Office, Minister of Foreign Relations, Sri Lankan Embassy in Beijing City and the Chinese Embassy in Sri Lanka. Minister Rupavahini says that the close friendship of the President and the Prime Minister with the government of China has enabled Sri Lanka to bring back the students stranded in Wuhan. Sri Lanka was the fourth state that was allowed permission to enter the Wuhan airport. The minister has also commended the fearless attitude of the staff of the Sri Lankan Airlines for successfully fulfilling the task of bringing back safely the Sri Lankan students. Minister Vanniyarachchi further said that the gratitude of the entire nation should be bestowed upon all those who took part in this endeavour following protective procedures.
නිර්භය ගුවන් සේවක කාර්ය මණ්ඩලයට මම හිතනවා සමස්ත ජාතියේම ගෞරවය පුද කරන්න ඕන. ඒ වගේම ඒ ගුවන් සේවක සේවිකාවන් කුමන ආකාරයෙන් කුමන සෞඛ්‍ය ආරක්ෂිත ක්‍රමවේද අනුගමනය කළ යුතුද යන්න පුහුණුවට ලක් කරපු සෞඛ්‍ය අමාත්‍යාංශයේ සියලුම වෛද්‍යවරුන් ඇතුළු නිලධාරීන්ටත් ගුවන් හමුදාවේ ඒ සියලුම නිලධාරීන්ටත් අපි ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා.
A total number of 660 Sri Lankan residents in China have returned to Sri Lanka. Another group of 45 is scheduled to return tonight. The government has provided special gear for the protection of the hospital staff treating the suspected infected patients and to control the coronavirus. More than 60 million rupees have been spent in this regard. A communique issued by the Health Ministry says that the necessary equipment have been provided to 12 hospitals, including the Infectious Diseases Hospital, under the guidance of Health Minister Pavitra Vanniyarachchi. The Health Minister has presided over the meeting with National Action Committee, which was appointed on the instruction of the President. A communique adds that many important decisions have been taken at the meeting regarding measures to control the disease. Director General of Health Services Specialist Physician Anil Jaisinghe said that the coronavirus-infected Chinese woman found in Sri Lanka was fully cured. Specialist physician Anil Jaisinghe said that it has been established that the Chinese female national who was infected with the disease was fully cured. He added that according to the tests conducted yesterday, there is possibility to release the patient without a problem. 16 suspected coronavirus-infected persons are being hospitalized in Ratnapura, Gampaha, Karapitiya and Infectious Diseases Hospital. Sri Lanka has upgraded its measures to contain any possibilities of the spread of the disease following the proclamation urgent global health emergency on coronavirus by the World Health Organization.
And meanwhile, the countries around the world have closed their borders to arrivals from China as officials work to control the rapid spread of the coronavirus. The US and Australia said that would deny entry all foreign visitors who had recently been in China, where the virus was first emerged in December. But global health officials have advised against such measures.
China's National Health Commission says the coronavirus outbreak in the country has killed 259 people. With more than 11,000 infections in China as of Friday, 137 cases have been reported in other countries. The central province of Hubei, the centre of the epidemic, is under a virtual quarantine, with roads sealed off and public transport shut down. In Australia, Prime Minister Scott Morrison said the country will deny entry to all foreign nationals travelling from mainland China from Saturday.
Our first responsibility is Australians and Australia's national interest, and that means the health of Australians and their well-being, and that is what is driving our decisions.
Australian citizens and permanent residents returning home are exempt from the ban, but are required to isolate themselves for 14 days after their arrival. Australian authorities have identified 10 coronavirus cases in Australia, but no deaths. In Europe, Spain confirmed the country's first case after a man was diagnosed on the remote island of La Gomera in the Canaries on Friday. The patient is part of a group of 5 people taken into observation on the island and isolated after it was found some of them had come into contact with a German man diagnosed with the virus. There are currently 6 known cases in Germany. A number of businesses have also enforced bans. Qatar Airways has suspended flights to mainland China, and the Hyatt hotel chain said it was extending its cancellation policy for Chinese travellers and hotels by nearly 3 weeks to the end of February.
Well, still on the same topic of coronavirus, all measures have been taken to declare open the 2 hospitals built in Wuhan in city within a period of 1 week. The work has been considered as an exceptional act of gallantry by the Chinese constructors. Both hospitals are equipped with necessary quarantine facilities in the treatment of extremely intense infections disease conditions.
An Adhisthana Puja was held in the premises of the Bandaranaike Memorial International Conference Hall this evening, wishing speedy recovery to all patients afflicted with the coronavirus. It was organized by the Sri Lanka China Social and Cultural Solidarity Association. Many countries were affected by the coronavirus, including China. At the puja, blessings were extended to the entire world population. Another puja to bless and wishing speedy recovery to all those subjected to the coronavirus was held at the Kalaniya Raja Mahavihara, organized by the Sri Lanka China Friendship Association.
Well, a national program titled Gamata Gayak Ratata Hetak, aimed at building 14,000 housing units within 60 days, has commenced today. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa has presided over the inauguration ceremony held in this connection in Waragama, Giribava in Kurunegala. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's policy statement named "The Vision of Prosperity Through Nation Building" has guaranteed a permanent house for every family in the country. The first phase of the program has been implemented under the guidance of the Prime Minister at a cost of 8.41 billion rupees. Houses are scheduled to be constructed for 14,022 low-income family units representing all Grama Seva divisions of the island. A committee comprised of several sectors select the eligible house recipients based on genuine needs without a period of 2 months. The members of the committee will be considered of regional political representatives, Samurdhi development officials, agricultural research production assistant officials, Gramaniladaris, family health service personnel, development officials, as well as clergymen. The President and the Prime Minister have instructed the relevant authorities that the housing program should be implemented without any political mediations. The Prime Minister has symbolically presented an advance payment through cheques to a group at today's inauguration ceremony.
මේ වර්ෂය අවසන් වෙනකොට මේ සියලුම
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said that Minister Indika has been handed over the responsibility to turn houses with palm-thatched roofs into tiled-roofed houses by the end of the year. He added that their aim is to hand over genuine ownership of the land to the citizens of the country who remain without having a house. Differences based on lines of ethnicity are being totally disregarded. Similar differences based on political party affiliations are also being overlooked. There are hundreds of thousands of people belonging to the Tamil, Muslim and Sinhala families who have been languishing in camps for 30 years as a result of terrorism.
And meanwhile, housing projects have commenced in several parts of the country today in parallel to the national program titled Gamatagyak Pratata Hetak. 102 houses are being constructed in the Vavuniya district. Sinhala, Tamil and Muslim families who are affected by the war and who are facing economic difficulties have been selected as housing recipients. The Vavuniya district inauguration ceremony has taken place in Bondirupu village, Vavuniya. The Mathura district program has got underway in Halawat Galgane in Devanuvara Divisional Secretariat Division. A housing program is also being conducted in Minthana village in Ahaliyagoda, Ratnapura. The housing project, which was commenced in Natulkewatta in Biriswatta Piliyandala in Kasbawa area, is scheduled to be completed within 60 days. The housing program in Kaluthara Divisional Secretariat Division took place in Paraduwa in Galpana. Construction of a house in Madudamada village in Polonnaruwa in the Elahara Divisional Secretariat Division has also commenced today. The Gamatagyak program has also commenced in Nachiduwa in Anuradhapura.
A new flight between Colombo and Jaffna is being implemented with effect from today. Currently, operations are being restricted for 3 days per week. It is hoped to conduct daily flights later on. The new air service is being deployed according to the government policy of promoting internal aviation services. An aircraft which is able to carry 70 passengers at a time has been deployed in this connection, and the service provider is Fetis Airline Company. The 3 weekly flights take place on Saturday, Monday and Wednesday. On these days, an aircraft will leave for Jaffna from the Ratmalana airport at 7:30 a.m. It will reach the Palali airport in Jaffna at 8:30 a.m. The return journey from Palali commences at 9:30 a.m. and reaches Ratmalana at 10:30 a.m. Another plane commencing journey from Palali airport in Jaffna operates between Jaffna and Chennai. A special feature of the new airline is that it is being operated targeting the Jaffna-Chennai flight. The airfare for a passenger travelling from Colombo and Jaffna and back is 15,000 rupees. Earlier, a sum of 33,000 rupees was charged for the round trip. The government has focused special attention to uplift internal air transport linking Jaffna and Batiklo and Mattala and Katnayaka. Airport manager of the Colombo Airport, Ratmalana, Arun Rajapaksa, said that this is a significant occasion. It is after several years that a civil aviation service is being conducted between Colombo and Jaffna according to a timetable. He added that the current service, restricted to 3 days per week, is scheduled to be upgraded to a daily service. It is also hoped to extend the service to civil airports that are being conducted by the Airport and Aviation Services Company. Manager of the Ratmalana Airport further said that it is a fine opportunity for local as well as foreign passengers. He has also expressed hope that the new service would contribute immensely for the propagation of tourism industry.
Inaugural flights to Jaffna. So far everything has been great for ourselves. For me, this is the first time I am in Sri Lanka, and I'm very, very happy to go to Jaffna to visit the north of the island. I happen to work in tourism myself, and I know what it means when you're actually developing new regions within an island destination like Sri Lanka. And the fact that now there is this very convenient and very comfortable flight, which is just an hour from Colombo, which is the capital, to Jaffna, is definitely augurs very well to have tourism development in the north of the island in Jaffna. I wish you luck. I wish you all the very best. The experience so far has been great. Check-in has been amazing. The staff has been extremely helpful, and we're really looking forward to go to Jaffna and have a great experience over there in the north of the island.
My name is Emanuela. I'm Italian, and I have been visiting Sri Lanka for the last 25 years. So this is the very first time that I'm visiting the north of Sri Lanka, which has been always closed because of the war. I've been experiencing the war, I've been experiencing the tsunami. I can say that Sri Lanka is my second home country, and I'm really, really proud and happy to have this opportunity, and it's really a festival. I mean, I know what it means for Sri Lanka to have this flight and to have been opening the country and developing the north of the country. So it's our wish, and I think we will be good luck people because we work in tourism. I work in Italy in tourism, and he works in Malta. So we wish all the best to Jaffna and the north of the country. I'm very proud to be here.
Well, with that, stay tuned for more local stories coming up next.
Welcome back. I need your more local stories this evening. The government has taken measures to consolidate the services of workers recruited to the Department of Archaeology during the previous regime in an unsystematic manner. This fact was established at a meeting between the workers and the officials of the Department of Cultural Affairs yesterday. More than 1,400 affected employees were engaged in an agitation requesting recently to secure their jobs. The government has focused attention on their grievance and convened the discussion. And the Colombo Chamber of Commerce proposals on SMEs, a communique issued by the Colombo Chamber of Commerce Sri Lanka, says that it wishes to express its gratitude to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa for his vision and mission to create a new Sri Lanka to benefit the common man. It further points out that the President has taken a very bold and positive effort to resurrect the economy by helping local and small and medium-scale entrepreneurs and granting them moratorium for loans for scheduled banks. The media report further says that the Colombo Chamber of Commerce believes that the credit support scheme has a positive impact on accelerating economic growth.
Is to protect the circular issued on 13th of January by Central Bank, giving a credit support scheme to accelerate economic growth. This circular covers various areas, and majority of the benefits the small and medium entrepreneurs can get out of this system is unknown by this sector. This is the reason that we thought of having a press conference to give little awareness for the scheme, and also give few proposals for the effective implementation of this circular. A lot of people, entrepreneurs, think this circular is only covered loans that they have taken, which is in non-performing stage, up to 300 million, which is not the case. This has been bundled with many other. As a chamber, which we really warmly welcome such a scheme, and as the chamber that we would like to thank His Excellency the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa for understanding the difficulties faced by SME sector and proposing this scheme. So we have to give our gratitude first. So this scheme has covered and offered many benefits to SME sector, in addition to giving a benefit to non-performing loans up to 300 million. This is facilitating SME sector, which is facing some difficulties, to reactivate their business, and they can get additional facilities, and they can get additional overdraft facilities, loans. Everything is covered in this scheme, not only converting non-performing loans into a performing loan. So there are a lot of additional things it has been given. And also at the same time, Central Bank has introduced a credit guarantee scheme. If any bank is giving an additional facility, Central Bank is giving a credit guarantee scheme where they give a guarantee up to 75% of the amount additionally given by the banks to these SME sector at a rate of 1%. There's a very attractive package that they have offered.
The Ministry of Public Administration and Home Affairs requests all government and private institutions to hoist the national flag for a period of 1 week starting today. In connection with the National Independence Day celebrations, the heads of institutions have also instructed to decorate all state institutions with electric lighting on the 3rd and 4th of this month. Sri Lanka's 72nd National Independence Day ceremony is scheduled to be conducted in front of the Independence Square in Colombo 7. Rehearsals in this connection were conducted today as well. 7,267 officials of the 3 armed forces and the police will participate in the Independence Day parade. 451 artists will also take part in cultural displays. 2,000 embassy officials and state officials are also expected to attend the ceremony. Opportunities have been provided for a group of around 1,000 persons to watch the proceedings from the grounds of the Sports Ministry.
And the equestrian section of the Sri Lanka Army extends its contribution to display gallant and pride at the 72nd Independence Day ceremony. This is the second occasion the Sri Lanka Army cavalrymen joining an Independence Day parade. Horses are one form to symbolize gallantry of any army in the world. The equestrian section of the Sri Lanka Army has commenced in the year 2013. 18 horses are scheduled to present the cavalry brigade at this year's National Independence Day ceremony. The outfit includes 15 male and 3 female animals. The cavalry division has received the beast from India, Pakistan and from the Netherlands. The horses have been specially trained at the Sri Lanka Army Academy in Diathalava under supervision of 8 personnel including Captain Azanga Jalak. It was only last year that an army equestrian section had taken part in an Independence Day parade in the country. The horses are presently engaged in rehearsals of the Independence Day parade. Major Rohan Udaratage is in charge of the division.
USA Embassy helps rural women become entrepreneurs. 20 graduates of the U.S. Embassy's Rural Entrepreneurs Program held a trade fair at the American Corner Candy to showcase their products recently. The women participated in a 6-month course called Zero Money, How to Start a Business. The program taught them the skills needed to launch and run a small business. The American Corner Candy has been conducting the program since 2016. More than 100 women of undeserved communities have participated in the program, which is led by Dr. Shobna Rajendran, Senior Lecturer at the Department of Economics and Statistics at the University of Peradeniya.
What Dr. Nanagay said, I thought it was very powerful when you referred to everybody as sister. Congratulations.
Well, with that, stay tuned for foreign news coming up next.
And in your foreign news, the UK has officially left the European Union after 47 years of membership and more than 3 years after it voted to do so in a referendum. The historic moment, which happened at 23 GMT, was marked by both celebrations and anti-Brexit protests.
Nostalgia, patriotism and defiance as the clock strikes Brexit. For its supporters, a long-awaited celebration outside Parliament, led by Mr Brexit, Nigel Farage. The United Kingdom slipped out of the European Union late on Friday, turning its back on the project to build a united power from the ruins of World War II.
I can't believe how we put up with Europe for so long as we did. All the insults they flung at us, our Prime Minister, our country, our Queen, now we're rid of them.
Yeah, relieved. No second referendum. Fantastic.
A different kind of party for these British expats in southern Spain.
It's a sad day for everybody, and you either stay at home and be miserable, or I thought, well, come on, let's get together, let's have a party.
Brexit is Britain's biggest shift since it lost its global empire. Remainers fear shrinking influence and the loss of freedom of movement.
I am a widow today because I feel very sad about leaving the whole of Europe. It's been one of the great things of my life is belonging to Europe, being able to travel where I want.
Brexit weakens the European Union too, though you wouldn't know it from this mock-up boxing match between the British Prime Minister and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, staged by Dutch artists. Boris Johnson was the one left reeling. Outside Parliament in Scotland, which voted to remain, a pro-EU rally formed. Epic opportunity or grave mistake, Brexit has deeply divided Britain. Though the Union Jack came down in Brussels, little will change at first. Britain enters a transition that will keep it a member till the end of the year, in all but name.
Well, from UK to USA now, US President Donald Trump is set to be acquitted in his impeachment trial after senators voted against calling witnesses or admitting new evidence. Democrats hoped four-swing Republicans would vote for witnesses, which would have extended the trial without in all likelihood changing its outcome. And the trial now moves forward to a vote on whether to acquit President Trump, which he is all but certain to win.
Ms. Murkowski. No.
The United States Senate on Friday voted against hearing new witnesses and seeing new evidence in President Donald Trump's impeachment trial, clearing the way for the president's almost certain acquittal next week.
Are there any senators in the chamber wishing to change his or her vote? If not, the yeas are 49. The nays are 51. The motion is not agreed to.
The Democratic push for calling witnesses fell short after only two Republicans, Mitt Romney and Susan Collins, voted with Democrats.
Mr. Alexander.
While Senators Lamar Alexander and Lisa Murkowski, seen as possible swing votes earlier in the week, said they had heard enough. The Senate's top Democrat, Chuck Schumer, called the vote a tragedy.
One of the worst tragedies that the Senate has ever overcome. America will remember this day, unfortunately, where the Senate did not live up to its responsibilities, where the Senate turned away from truth and went along with a sham trial.
Testimony from John Bolton, Trump's former national security advisor, was of particular interest. Just hours before the vote, the New York Times reported new details from an unpublished book by Bolton, in which the former aide said Trump directed him to help a pressure campaign to get Ukraine to investigate his political rival Joe Biden and his son Hunter, an allegation that strikes at the heart of the impeachment case against Trump.
I send an amendment to the desk to subpoena John R. Bolton.
After the crucial vote, Democrats tried to force 4 last-ditch effort amendments that would allow the Senate to subpoena witnesses. All 4 failed. The Senate is almost certain to acquit Trump of the impeachment charges, abuse of power, and obstruction of Congress. Many Republican senators said they did not think Trump did anything wrong, while Senators Alexander and Rob Portman said his actions were wrong, but did not amount to impeachable conduct. And in a lengthy statement, Senator Marco Rubio said impeachment would be too divisive for the country, even if the president engaged in clearly impeachable activity. The Senate trial is set to resume on Monday when House managers and Trump's defense team will make their closing arguments. Then the Senate will convene for a final up or down vote on the articles of impeachment on Wednesday, one day after Trump delivers his State of the Union speech in the House, where Democrats impeached him.
And on your sports update, the second round of the Inter-Society Rugby Leagues have started with Sri Lanka Army and Sri Lanka Navy, which took part in the match between those Sri Lankan Army and Sri Lankan Navy teams in Ratmalana Air Force grounds. And with that, we conclude tonight news, which is tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.
Good night.